Hello and welcome again to the not so weekly news from RC Model Reviews. 7:30 in the morning and I'm already out here working hard because some people have pointed out where are all the part twos for a lot of the reviews and things I've done. I've done part one, but there's no part two. What's with that? Well, obviously a lot of the problems in the past were just having a lack of continuity for filming stuff. It was dependent highly on the weather, even the inside vids. If there was no sun out, then the lighting was crap. So now I've got my studio. That is piece of the past. No problems now. 7:30 in the morning, the sun is very low on the horizon, but look, the lighting is just as it would be at midnight or middle of the day. Brilliant, excellent. That's why I invested so much of what little money I had in this studio. But there's a more important issue here now. A lot of the part two videos are flight tests. I build a model, I get a model and I put it together and I show you what's good and bad. And then I've got to flight test it. Now I've got a mountain of models out here. I've got, the Bruce Lee 90mm. I've got the Taft Hobby Viper jet. I've got the Caprina FPV model. I've got the Range Video jet. There's more out there. There's heaps of them, heaps of models here. The Venus Trainer from HobbyKing, the new Spectra DLG. All these models here waiting to be flight tested. And for those who perhaps don't know, I'm the only RC model flyer in New Zealand that's grounded, forbidden by law to fly anywhere near where my workshop is, anywhere in the vicinity. And I can't even go to a neighbouring club and fly at their field because the national body has banned me from membership, looks like for life. Yes, that's right, despite all their assurances and promises and things, they said, oh, well, all's forgiven, just pay us $72, pay $72 to this club and we'll give you your wings back membership. So I paid my $72. And then they said, nah, changed our mind. So I don't have my $72, I don't have my wings, I don't have membership, and I still can't fly. In some countries that'd be called fraud, but here it's called Model Flying New Zealand. And that's why I can't fly. It's an outrageous situation, which has really crippled my activities here in terms of bringing you reviews. So yes, some of the fault is mine with some of the other bench reviews, which I should have done part twos of, but now I've got a real bench that still has a bit of space on it, so I'll be getting right into those. But the really important part twos, the flight tests, well, it's Model Flying New Zealand and it's CAA and it's the local council. They've all sort of worked together, because my big mistake has been that I've criticised the performance of these organisations. They don't like being criticised even when they're appallingly bad at what they do. Now, it seems that if you criticise these bureaucracies and these bodies, they take it very personally and they make sure they're going to get back at you. Model Flying New Zealand banned me from flying. They've got a bit hot for them. They got a bit, a lot of complaints, a lot of people bitching at them. Why are you doing these silly things? So when it got too hot for them, they handed it on to CAA and said, well, we think he's commercial. And CAA, after some consideration, because there's a very powerful relationship there, said, yeah, we agree with you. So they said, you're commercial, you've got to get a commercial operating authority. So I jumped through all the hoops and I sent off all the bits of information required, my certifications for radio telephone operators, my flight safety plans, the type of aircraft I'd be using, that sort of stuff. And then I heard nothing at all. For a month, I emailed them and said, can you please update me on the status of my application? Nothing. Waited another month, sent another email off, can you please advise me what's happened to my application? Nothing. In the end, I had to go to my Minister of Parliament, my Member of Parliament, or not my Member of Parliament, the actual Minister for Transport, who's responsible for overseeing the operations of CAA. He told me that CAA would be contacting me because he'd spoken to them. It would be sorted. I waited a month and nothing happened. So I contacted the minister again. And then I got this lovely letter of apology from CAA. Look at this. I should frame this from CAA on their letterhead. See? CAA letterhead. Lovely letter of apology. I apologise for the delay in responding to these emails. Wow, look at that. These guys need a kick up the arse with a size 10 boot. And the minister's given them one. He had to give it to them twice before they did anything. This is the level of troubles that I'm dealing with here in New Zealand when the bureaucracy go out of their way to make my life hell. And it's the same with the local council. Now, the local council is a good example because they've got their own set of rules here for model flying and they have gone out of their way to make sure that I'm specifically excluded. Now, CAA and the other people that make the law for the land, they've said a model aircraft is any unmanned aircraft that is between 100 grams and 25 kilograms. That's the law of the land. But the local council have gone a step further because I criticised them, and this is what happens when you criticise people in power in this country. They've redefined model aircraft by saying, for the purposes of these rules, a model aircraft is a model aircraft means any model aircraft of any weight or dimension which flies by remote control. So even my under 100 grams, which are completely legal under CAA's regulations to fly here, the council says can't do it. The council goes even further. Under CAA's regulations, you can fly at an airfield if you are the holder of a wings badge or under the direct supervision of a holder of a wings badge, the holder of a flight instructor certificate or under the direct supervision of someone who's got a flight instructor certificate. Local rules, different. They've made the change. They've said that, here we go, where are we? Each pilot must hold a Model Flying New Zealand wings qualification or the equivalent and be able to produce proof of same at any time the pilot is flying an aircraft. Model aircraft, I assume. So you can't fly under someone else's wings. How are they going to train people to fly down here at Swim? How are they going to teach them to fly? If you have to have your wings to fly here, but you can't get your wings until you've learned to fly. No more flight training in Tokoroa for RC model flyers. How's that promoting the hobby? And why isn't Model Flying New Zealand jumping up and down saying, no, 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 you can't do that. It's disadvantaging new members. Well, they don't give a tinker's curse about new members. All they care about is making sure I don't fly. As you can see, all these special rules and regulations made just for me. Isn't that wonderful? So that's why there's been so many flight reviews missing. Why there's been so many missing part 2s in RC model reviews. Because theyese people, they're all a bunch of dickheads, I'll be totally honest with you. I think they're a bunch of dickheads. CAA are making me jump through hoops because in this letter of apology, as I say, I got this letter of apology because I sent in all the information requested of me and they did nothing. They just sat on it and didn't process anything. So I went to the minister, I got a letter of apology, and do you know what it says? This is what you need to do. You need to send in your name, address, contact numbers, person who's responsible for operations, name of the pilot's qualifications, operating area, written agreement, blah, blah, blah. All the stuff I've already sent them. So they're basically saying, to you, we'll just make you run through hoops until you get tired and go away. That's not the way these things should work. It's an outrage. And this is what I've got to deal with. Why? Because I criticise people. Open and honest criticism. There is no free speech in this country. You cannot criticise organisations that have any power because they get their noses out of joint and then they decide to persecute you. Like I'm being persecuted because apparently I'm unsafe. I don't have not enough proficiency to hold the wings certification, although I held it for years. Never injured anybody, never damaged any third-party property, never put anybody's lives in danger, taught everyone down here how to fly, and organised events which I invited CAA to, and they were happy and they praised the safety organisation of the events and everything. Everything was fine until I criticised them, and ooh, everything changes. Now, I'm no worse flyer. I'm no less safe than I was. I dared to criticise, and that's the crap you got to deal with in a country like New Zealand. It's terrible, absolutely crap. Something's going to have to happen about this, and I'm going to make sure it does. It would be easy for me to say, oh, geez, it's all too hard. It's all too hard because I've got subscribers now complaining, where are the part 2s? I'm going to unsubscribe, ooh. Despite the fact that there's still a whole lot of stuff up there that everyone has benefited from, I hope. There are always people who are going to complain at every opportunity. Those people, oh, I'm going to unsubscribe because you haven't done part 2 of this, that, the other, you haven't flight tested this, whatever. Well, I can't. If I could, I would. What shall I do? Shall I go out and break the law? They would come and arrest me, put me in jail, fine me huge amounts of money. Are you going to pay the bill? Because I can't afford to. I'm not like Trappy. I don't have 10 grand, ferreted away for paying a bill. And this is a very similar situation to Trappy where, Model Flying New Zealand has admitted that they convinced CAA to classify me as commercial, so I'd need all this paperwork, which CAA refuses to process in a timely manner, and basically just sends me back to square one every time I get there. Model Flying New Zealand did that, so it takes the heat off them. Outrageous, crazy, silly, shouldn't be allowed to happen. Now things are happening here in Tokoroa. We've had a new council elected. A whole lot of the old dead wood, and trust me, they were dead wood. They've been kicked out on their ears because the people finally recognised these people were just useless. New councillors in. Things hopefully will change here at the airfield. I'm going to keep you updated on that. I'm not going away. I'm not giving up. I'm doing this. I've got a lot of people out there. I can help in the hobby. I can get new people into the hobby. I can excite people. I can make it fun. I can inform you so you don't waste your money on crap. That's what I intend to do. And if some people want to unsubscribe because I haven't flight reviewed the Bruce Lee 90mm because I can't use the tarmac, I can't use any, there's a bylaw in this town. They put in a bylaw, special bylaw. You may not fly any model aircraft from any public place. So that includes parks, reserves, anywhere that's public. You can't fly a model aircraft. Well, how unfriendly to hobbies is that, right? And they wonder why the children in this town run amok because they've got nothing to do. They're ooh, let's fly model aircraft. No, you can't do that, sonny. Bugger off, go and rob a liquor store or something, you know. I mean, that's the kind of idiocy that the previous council endorsed, and that's going to change. I'm pretty sure that will change. But that's the situation. So I'm carrying on. Sorry, carrying on regardless. And if you want to unsubscribe, then unsubscribe. You know, that's fine. I mean, you can't please all the people all the time. I do my best to please as many as I can. A lot more bench reviews coming up because that's all I can do. And I will be trying to do flight reviews. I can't throw the Bruce Lee 90mm hand launch it over a grassy paddock somewhere. It's silly. It'll just crash. And that's no testimony to the airframe. It's the fact that you can't hand launch a 3.5 kg EDF made of composite. It just doesn't work that way. Not something that's supposed to fly, you know, so fast. Simple. Now, on with other issues in the model, not so weekly news. First of all, I see HobbyKing have got some pulsejets, and that's excellent news. And another point, everyone keeps asking, what happened to the HobbyKing turbine? Why haven't you reviewed that? Well, it wasn't sent to me for review. It was sent to me to have a look at and to comment on and to provide some input if I could. Now, I did show you when the HobbyKing turbine arrived. It's sitting on a test stand out there. I'm still waiting. The chain of communication between HobbyKing and myself seems to have fallen apart somewhere along the line because there is an error message on the FADEC, on the ECU, which appears to indicate that the voltage is too low, but it's not. The voltage is fine, but the FADEC is saying voltage low. So I've contacted, some time ago, I contacted HobbyKing and said, what shall I do? What do you recommend I do in order to sort this out? Because I don't have another FADEC that does Kero start. So I have to wait for them to respond. They haven't responded. I'll chase it up for you, see if we can get that sorted. But it's not going to be a review because it's a prototype. And you can't review a prototype because it's a little bit unfair. I mean, it's a hand-built engine, and the FADEC or the ECU is obviously a prototype as well. So, you know, it would be unfair to say this is really good or this is crap based on just such an early experience. The goal is to help HobbyKing produce a better product, and that's what I intend to do. But they've got pulsejets, $100, under $100 for a pulsejet, brilliant, and that's great. So I looked on the HobbyKing website, and I see all these experts talking about, oh, it's highly explosive fuel, you can't use that, you know. So many experts born every minute. I have a pulsejet coming, I bought one, ordered it, should be here soon, I hope, it hasn't shipped yet. When it arrives, I will put it on test stand, fire it up, see how we go. It looks like it's a copy of the Dynajet, which is a tried and proven design. They're not that powerful, you know. But one thing I noticed HobbyKing doesn't have is any spare reed valves. That's a bit of a shame because people will go through reed valves. A lot of people will be running these things static on a bench because there's not a lot of models around for pulsejets. But I'll be doing a project with pulsejet. May never be able to fly it, but I'll build a project with pulsejets. And you'll see, because if you run them static, then the reed valves don't tend to last very long at all. So people will buy them, run them for 5 or 10 minutes, and then can't run them anymore. The reed valve's broken. What do I do? So HobbyKing better stock up on reed valves real quick because I'd be buying them 10 at a time if I could. Although I think I've seen them on eBay anyway. They're just a Dynajet reed valve by the look of it. The other thing is, speaking of shipping and HobbyKing, I mentioned in my last Not So Weekly news that HobbyKing was going to make sure everyone was all right with these LiPos. You know, the big situation with the LiPo problems? Apparently, the air carriers, the normal airmail carriers, said, we're not carrying them, and they're X-raying. So all the LiPos were rejected and sent back to HobbyKing, so they were left going, what do we do? Well, now they're shipping by FedEx, and that's working really well, apparently. I've spoken to a number of people who've ordered LiPos. They've arrived by FedEx really quick, and that's fine. More expensive, but, you know, still getting them. But my order I placed on the, I don't know, late September, is still sitting in the print queue, hasn't even been printed yet. Even though HobbyKing said, don't worry, we'll take care of you. We'll make sure nobody misses out. We will upgrade the shipping so that you get your LiPos. Well, excuse me, but I know a lot of LiPos have shipped since then. A lot of people have, you know, placed new orders and they've got them ages ago. What's happened to mine? I certainly hope this isn't a case of HobbyKing simply sitting there waiting, knowing that lots and lots of people, if the product doesn't ship, they'll cancel their order and reorder. So then HobbyKing doesn't have to upgrade the shipping because people cancel, they reorder, they pay for the shipping. I hope that's not the case. I certainly hope it's not. Well, I'll keep you informed. I'll leave it for a few more weeks, and if it doesn't ship, then I'm afraid that probably is the case. You'll be faced with just having to cancel your orders that are stuck in limbo and reorder them. And it'll be a bad look for HobbyKing. So I'm pretty sure they won't. They can't afford that sort of bad press, and I hope they don't. But we'll see what happens. I'll keep you informed. In the meantime, as I say, it's now, what, about 8:45, 10 to 8? I better get on and start doing some more videos before everybody unsubscribes. I might do the part 2s first. What do you reckon? Okay, thank you. Sorry, I've still got this horrible cold, but despite that fact, I've dragged myself out of my bed at this early hour to make sure I keep bringing you lots of part 2s. And then people will say, where's the part 3? Thanks for watching. Any questions on the bottom? Any comments on the bottom? And a thumbs up if you think it's worth staying subscribed. Bye for now.